What's up, the swirl? It's your boy Tommy Maverick. I just came in to talk about a couple things. In news that I covered / doesn't surprise me, old people are still taking shots at the new people. Stephen A. is on television saying that Steph Curry wouldn't have averaged 17 against if he played in the 80s and 90s. Tracy McGrady has lost his mind, saying LeBron would get eviscerated by every player in the league if it was a one-on-one. I mean, at this point, it is almost like cowardly for these guys to not fight that. I mean, can we agree there? Like, at some point, you have got to stop. You know what I mean? It's like all I keep hearing constantly about the younger guys, the younger guys is they need to stop. They need to stop. They need to respect the game. They need to respect those that came before them. They need to allow people. They need to allow those players, you know, the same effort. If they were able to have the same nutrition, if they were able to do all, I don't like it. I feel it's stupid. I feel it comes off as extremely petty and haterish. Like you're a hater. You know what I mean? Anybody who believes Steph Curry would have averaged 17, I'm trying to figure out. Yes, Steph is not as tall as Reggie Miller, but Reggie Miller wasn't exactly strong. Reggie Miller's thing was that he could shoot, and he did a damn good job. Steph is every bit as good a shooter as Reggie Miller is, if not to a certain extent better. But now we're gonna act as if Steph as if somehow the 90s basketball, because of hand checking. This whole notion with hand checking drives me crazy. Okay, let me let you guys know. Around 2002, they got rid of illegal defense, but in order to do that, they got rid of hand checking. Now, it can be confusing to people, so I'll try to talk slow. The reason why they got rid of hand checking was because hand checking was used when illegal defense wasn't allowed. Now, if you don't understand what that means at the time they couldn't play zone. They couldn't play zone defense, meaning every player had to be guarding a player. You couldn't double, right? If you tried to double, the only way you could double is if your teammate, if the player kind of came over to you, like another player came over, and you can kind of like hide it and pretend that it's a like fake zone. So, but you couldn't actually play zone, because if you ever tried it, you would get called for an illegal defense. So this made it incredibly easy for players to just get to the basket, right? Guys would they made their money never really needing to get to develop a shot, because they could just go down the middle of the field. Because if their player, when they ISO'd, it was a true ISO. Like, you could not help off of your player, because that was considered illegal defense. So, yes, do people do it? Yes, but they can do it to the extent that they do it now. So the defenses now are better than the defenses were then, because the defenses now they can help. They can double team and get the ball taken out. Just have a pure double team where they just attack the player, and now the player has to throw it and get rid of it. So these guys were not dealing with the same type of double teams that these guys today are dealing with. A guy like Steph Curry has a shot because of the way the defenses are played. The reason why Steph Curry had to shoot and continue to shoot further and further back was because people start picking him up earlier. When he would cross midfield, they started just making it so they would just bail out and crash out before they allow him to come off of a screen. So they started doing that and making it hard. So a lot of the moves, the movements they do off the ball, a lot of that stuff changes when you're running a zone. Right? Meaning a lot of guys, when these guys are flaring out or they're taking back their cuts, they're doing that because now people can double team. They can come over. They can help on defense. When they come over, help on defense, now these guys are in positions where other people are running wide open. So the Cisco look, their game is a direct result of the style of the zone defense. They had to learn to find different ways to get to the basket. They can't just dribble down the middle of the field, force their way in, no, because it's too hard. You have to be extremely good. Guys like LeBron, guys like Donovan Mitchell, Anthony Edwards, these guys can still do it, but it's extremely hard. Luka, they can do it, but they have to do it more with skill than they can with just athleticism. Back when Jordan's days, even with the hand check, because this is the most overrated tool in the history of basketball. You would think if a person that the ability to just put your hand there, as if players don't do that now anyways, you would think just putting your hand, because the same way that they camouflage zone, these players can still put their hands on players and not get called and do the same thing. But the idea that hand checking is the great lost art of defense is just ridiculous. It's only said because it's the only thing they can point to that they had that other people didn't. Now all of a sudden it's so hard. Go watch those games and see how easy it was to get by people. Almost every player on the league, on the team, on these who attacked the rim had little to no bag. They would just hold the ball, pump fake, step around, and then run and dunk it. They would have two moves. They had two moves in that bag. They would pump fake, run around, dunk a layup. And if they couldn't dunk a layup, they stop. They would stop mid step, take a dribble step, and then fade away shoot it. And that's only like 10% of them that could actually do that. The centers were woefully underskilled. Most of them had no offensive game whatsoever. Dikembe Mutombo. Think about the top centers in the game. You had David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing. Wow, I'm trying to figure out some more. And Shaq, who came later. Yeah, no, that's a lie. They did not have a lot of skilled big men. They had they had the best skilled big men, but they did not have that's four players. That's four guys out of like 28 teams. So what about everybody else? Sabonis now, the Sabonis that plays now was way more skilled than Sabonis that played then. And he was considered extremely skilled for that time. It's like people forget that you can actually look this stuff up, that you can actually watch, and that some of us actually watched it. No, there were not a lot of skilled big men. Most big men did nothing but essentially were volleyball players. That's essentially the extent of their skill, volleyball. They would just stand under the goal, stand under the rim and protect. And on offense, they had no bag. They either dunked or laid it up. Simple. Most of them had no shot outside of maybe 7-8 feet from the basket. So this idea that hand checking was this. Why did people score inside easier when y'all play if hand checking was so valuable? I got it, because it wasn't. But that's neither here nor there. So that's the whole thing about Steph Curry and these old guys who love to act as if they're so much better than they were. Other players when they averaged in their era but they would have averaged 1,000 in their era. Yeah, sure you would have. Guy who can't shoot past 10 feet, can't dribble, can't go left. You would have annihilated. I heard Steven Jackson standing up there talking about he would if he played now, it would have been, no, it wouldn't have. All you did was shoot threes. That's so ironic coming from him. You were a 3-point shooter. You were a 3-and-D guy who had bad defense and used to shoot threes. So you were not a great defender. That's why you never stood. That's why you get mad at Popovich. But there's a reason why you were always coming off the bench. It's because you were terrible defensively. All you used to do was be a good 3-point shooter, and that's great for what it is. But don't try to come out and act like you were Steph Curry. You weren't. You were Danny Green with worse defense. So I'm not saying this to crap on anybody. I'm saying this to point out that these players become mythical when they stop playing. Tim Hardaway, the ones that talk the most crap are the players that didn't. Matt Barnes, it was tough. It was tough. No, it wasn't. I mean, you watch the same hard fouls today that you saw in the 70s and 80s. The only difference is they give them a technical for it. It doesn't stop them from doing it. Oh, this was a common two-shot foul. Yeah, that was stupid. For 90% of your league was doing crack. I mean, it's like I would do crack too. I gotta come there and get beat up for peanuts on $1. It's like these guys had to have off-season jobs because they got paid such crap. But these were the glory days where guys could foul people instead of guard them. Well, yeah, I've never in my life seen people's ability to. Somebody be proud and use it as a positive that they fouled more, harder. That's your skill. What's your skill? We fouled harder. It's like, what? That's the one thing you bring to the table. Y'all fouled harder. It's like, man, move on, dude. It's like your day is over. Your day's been over. I mean, hell, LeBron's been in the league 23 years. I mean, it's like at this point, it's just stupid. Let these kids stop hating on these people because they don't remember who you are. And that's 90% of the guys who get mad. The ones who people don't remember who they are, they always the ones that gotta talk. Kendrick Perkins always talking sideways because he knows vast majority of people don't remember a play he ever made. He has no signature play. He has no signature team. He was on the Celtics, but half the time you forget it. He was on the Cavaliers, half the time you forget it. He was on the Warriors, half the time you forget it. He's a very forgettable player. It's just, yes, his skill was his defense, but nobody remembers him having some signature defensive play or style. He was a rotational player that had little to no offense, had no skill. He was just big. Period. End of story. So that being said, we go on to the next stupid thing. Tracy McGrady says LeBron James would have got annihilated in one-on-one. Now, when it comes to crotchety old haters, LeBron James is like freaking cat. What's they call catnip to these guys. They just always have they have to always throw this man's name and stuff, right? The idea that LeBron James, who has probably been doing one-on-one drills since he was like in the NBA since he was like 18 years old, he would get annihilated. I'm going to give it, this is the whole thing. Kobe said this crap too. Well, LeBron's more of a team player. LeBron is a less selfish player. That doesn't, if LeBron wanted to, he could average 30 a night. Very easily. LeBron can shoot the mid-range. LeBron can shoot the turnaround. LeBron can take people off the dribble. LeBron could dunk. LeBron could shoot the three. If LeBron wanted to, he could average 30 a night. The point is that just never been conducive to winning. That's why his teams were good. Tracy McGrady's teams were bad. Kobe Bryant team outside of 2.5 seasons were bad. I mean, that's why all these guys, Stephon Marbury team was bad. All these guys who hate on LeBron, their teams were bad. All they did, and their teams were generally bad because they did nothing but keep up a bunch of shots. And this is the legacy that Michael Jordan left. When Michael Jordan retired, all these guys went out of their way to be the next Michael Jordan. And they realized, hey, if Mike just got famous and being considered the greatest basketball player of all time by just scoring a lot and guarding the third or fourth best offensive player. So he literally had to play no defense and then went out there, little to no defense until he wanted to and simply just shot a bunch of shots. I can do that. Yeah, but you don't got Scottie Pippen next to you. That guy can't make up all your flaws like Scottie did for Michael. You're just out there shooting a bunch of shots at the expense of other people getting rhythm, at the expense of other people being able to contribute. And at the end of the game, you got 35 on 32 shots and patting yourself on the back. You realize you get 2 points for every shot. And we sitting up here with you monopolizing the ball, dribbling for 20 minutes, and we wondering why this team is, for every one shot we get, this team gets 3. Because they're passing the ball and they got 3 people scoring against your one guy scoring. This is one thing that they just don't understand. Here is something you can't understand. But yeah, like if you sit there and you watch these guys, they don't seem to get it. Your team was bad for a reason. And you weren't better than LeBron because you scored 40 as a rookie. Because you scored 40 and he scored 35. Because his team won. So at the end of the day, this is the craziness. Tracy McGrady has never played for nothing but bottom feeder teams. And he had a chance to have one of the best teams of all time, and he left because he wanted to be the number one. Congratulations. Your legacy forever. So you could have been considered Pippen to a Michael Jordan, which is Vince Carter. You decided you didn't want to play second fiddle, so you jumped on another team and just start chunking up a bunch of shots. There's a reason why your coach did not like you as much as he liked Vince. There's a reason why your coach did not see the same thing in you he saw in Vince, because you were a selfish player who went out there and just tried to worry about his stats. This is why your body broke down on you faster than everybody else. And this is why you ended up always on the sideline on middle and terrible teams. Why you ended up playing in China. Because the ego. If at any point in your career, if you would have decided that winning was more important than your personal stat line, then you probably would have been a lot better off. Hell, you probably would still be in Toronto. But instead, what you were rising, y'all were becoming a real threat. Toronto was getting to the Eastern Conference Finals without you. Vince was taking the team to the Eastern Conference Finals without you. So imagine what he would have done with you. But instead, you chose to go to the Orlando Magic because they paid you a bunch of money and you thought you could be the guy. And guess what? You were the guy, but you weren't the guy. That's why y'all team constantly lost. And if you want, and even when they gave you a second great star, and y'all mean. He was hurt constantly because you were constantly just dribbling the air out of the ball, getting to your spot. But at some point, when this man got to get his own shot all the time, you're rarely on the court. Guess what's going to happen to him? It's going to demand more from him. And the more you demanded for him, the more taxing you put on his body, which is why he probably ended up with the injury history that he had. You, on the other hand, continue to believe that your style of play was great because you scored. So therefore, you were the best one-on-one player because you scored. No, there are players that probably could have averaged the same amount you did. They just didn't play like you did. Allen Iverson was a beast, but Allen Iverson was extremely selfish. He did not want anybody. He got his injury history his body, the hit started to rack up on him because he refused to pass the ball. He dribbled, and looked for his own shot. He never used the attention he got to play create for other people. He would just take bad shots. The same thing with Tracy McGrady, Stephon Marbury. These guys, difference is that Allen Iverson is mature enough to understand that his style of play wasn't great for him. And he gives homages to guys like Steph Curry that did the things that he wished he would have done. Because he knows his legacy would have been would have been more solidified if he would have stayed and worried about championships and actually tried to learn how to play the game and use his attention to further help him become the player that he needed to be so that his team could be great. Because if he did that without a second star, imagine what would have happened if he would have learned to play the right way and use that same star power so that players around him could eat. But that's the difference. A guy like Tracy McGrady is only going to help Tracy McGrady. He's never going to help anybody else. And at the end of the day, you by yourself is not going to ever be the team. You're just going to dribble the air out of the ball, and then when it's all said and done, the people around you ain't got. Everybody wants to point to Harden. Harden had Chris Paul. That's why Harden was able to do that. The minute he lost Chris Paul, or what do you know, he couldn't do it anymore. Devin Booker did that. Then he lost Chris Paul. And magically, he wasn't able to do that anymore. You got to do more than score. Tracy McGrady does not understand basketball that well, or he would have been a better team player. He understands how to play individual ball, so he thinks because he scored a lot of points, he was the best individual player in the league. Same thing Kobe thinks. No, that's not how it works. Kobe said that same thing. Well, that's LeBron's style. He passed, but one-on-one, that's what I do. No, that's what you focus on. That doesn't mean you're better at it. That doesn't make you 30 pounds heavier to be able to withstand LeBron James in the paint. So you can throw your body, you can do all you want, but that does not change the fact that LeBron is too big and he's too quick. So if you try to plant your feet and you have no help deep, it's easy for you to run up there and try to body LeBron when you know that there's somebody going to help you once LeBron turns the corner. It's another thing entirely to sit there and try to bump with LeBron, knowing that all he has to do is do a quick turn and he's out of there. You're not running him down because LeBron is more athletic than you. He jumps higher than you. He's stronger than you. He's faster than you. If he gets by you, what you gonna do? Foul him? It's stupid. If you try to run to cut him off and you try to leverage him in and leverage him high and try to stop him from getting by you, he's just gonna stop like he always does, turn his back to you, do a dream shake, turn around and hit a turnaround on you. So if you try to just stand on the thing, he's just going to shoot a three. There's nothing LeBron James can't do on the court. So what 1v1 situation would be disadvantageous for LeBron? You think LeBron can't win a one-on-one with Giannis? I'm sorry, but LeBron can guard Giannis. All LeBron has to do to Giannis is bring him out to the three-point line. Meaning, if Giannis tries to stay under the goal, LeBron will just thread the needle and just shoot. Once 2 or 3 of those shots come out, now Giannis is going to have to come out to the boundary to guard him. And guess what? LeBron's going to go around him. Jokic is a joke. He would never beat LeBron 1v1. Anthony Edwards is too short. LeBron would just go over top of it. And he's not big enough. So I'm trying to think of somebody that I could even imagine that would be a problem for LeBron. Kevin Durant would give it to LeBron offensively. But defense, I would give the edge to LeBron because defensively, there is nothing Kevin Durant can do with LeBron. The players that are great defensively, that are good enough to guard LeBron, are not good enough defensively to stop him. offensively to score on him. And the ones that are good enough offensively are not good enough defensively to stop it. Who's going to stop him? Think about the top players in the league. Luka, Ja Morant, Donovan Mitchell. They're going to beat LeBron in a 1v1. Garland was struggling with Bronny James in 1v1, but he going to beat LeBron. It's like, who's going to beat LeBron 1v1? Like, you got to be retarded. How you an NBA Hall of Famer and can't understand the problems LeBron would present for anybody trying to play him 1v1? LeBron passes because he understands he should. Because that's what you do when you're being double teamed. You pass. You look for the open man. That's good, smart basketball. You don't take on 3 people by yourself and hope the ball goes in. Luka. But regardless of the situation, you play the game the right way. You don't play it stupidly, and you don't over-exaggerate, and you don't try to prove that you Michael Jordan by making bad decisions and taking bad shots. You prove you Michael Jordan you prove you're the best player by playing the game in the best way that's conducive to winning. But because LeBron does it that way, don't get it twisted. LeBron can beat you in other ways. Every time it's been called, go back to 2018 Cavs, when it was forced upon LeBron to take on the lion's share of the scoring role. Who was able to stop LeBron? Nobody. He was scoring 40 a night. But how quickly we forget. Draymond Green is possibly one of the smartest basketball players to ever play. His defense in comparison to Tracy McGrady's defense is laughable. Tracy McGrady and Draymond Green are not even the same stratosphere of defense. And Draymond Green has said, if we did a 1v1, LeBron would win. There's nobody can guard him and be guarded by him. He's going to make it harder for you to make a shot, and you're going to make it for him to make a shot. So, and the ones that will make it hard for him to make a shot, they have no offense. So because a team can neutralize LeBron doesn't mean a player by himself can neutralize LeBron. Kobe would never have been able to guard LeBron 1v1 by himself. Everybody keeps showing these All-Star game clips, not understanding there is a person standing underneath the rim. That is not a 1v1. Kobe is pushing and doing this. He's being ultra aggressive because he understands if LeBron gets by him, there's somebody waiting at the rim. He would never do that in a 1v1. Why? Because once LeBron's around him, he's around him. He can't do anything. Only thing he can do is try to hope LeBron misses. Because he's not going to be able to stop LeBron from getting to no rim. When he's going to run down and block LeBron from the back, stop it. People forget that basketball is a team game. And because a player can be neutralized by a team does not mean they will be neutralized by a player. Tracy McGrady? LeBron now would give you the business. He's not an 18-year-old kid that you played when you were in the twilight of your career. By LeBron's 4th or 5th year, you were a background player with that was no longer even relevant. When LeBron was already starting to take over the league, you weren't even that old, and you were already irrelevant. So, I'm just saying, call a spade a spade. Tell the truth. Is Tracy McGrady a all-time great? Of course he is. Does he have any right to stand up and talk about a 1v1 when he had the defensive prowess of a freaking journeyman NBA player? No, he doesn't know anything about defense. So for him to sit up there and try to tell other people who would be easy to stop and who wouldn't, like he was some defensive guru, is amazing to me. But that's all I want to say. Let me know what y'all think. Am I tripping? Do y'all agree? Do y'all not agree? Thumbs it up if you like it. And if you're not subscribed, what we doing? Subscribe. All right, y'all. Peace.